It's the nation's favourite antiques experts.
Wow.
Behind the wheel of a classic car.
This is the ejector bomb.
And a goal to scar Britain for antiques.
Where's my yellow submarine?
The aim, to make the biggest profit at auction. But it's no mean feat. There'll be worthy winners and valiant losers.
It's cheap firewood.
Will it be the high road to glory
We look really cool in this.
or the slow road to disaster?
Oh, I don't know what I'm driving.
This is Antiques Road Trip. Yeah.
Borada, everyone, and especially our two intrepid trippers, heading further into the wonderful country of Wales.
Anglesey is known as the mother of Wales, you know.
I never knew that. Why, I wonder?
Inquiring minds, as always. That's Margie Cooper, currently in the wing woman role, and Tim Edhurst behind the wheel.
I love your unbelievable enthusiasm.
You're one of the most enthusiastic people I've met.
Oh, really?
Yes. It's very infectious.
Equally energised, in a very green sort of way, is their little electric-powered crew cab fire engine.
Phones for you, Margie.
Oh, very funny.
Not that they've put out any fires with it this week, of course. Too busy with the core activity.
Hello, who's there?
I've got some antiques to sell. What you got?
Margie from Cheshire has experienced mixed emotions when trying to make profits from her acquisitions thus far, with the occasional triumph.
There's life in the old girl, yeah.
More than balanced out, with a fair few flops. While Dorset-residing Tim, although equally prone to a lead balloon,
Something that's going to make money.
has, on the whole, had a much more satisfactory sale room experience.
Yes.
And after 3 victories, he already has his rival playing for pride.
Will you let me win the next one?
Maybe.
Another £200 apiece to spend, remember?
I think you let me win the last 3, just to make me feel better about you beating me last road trip.
They never forget, these antiques experts. They set out at the seaside in Blackpool and shopped south before crossing the border and coming over all Cymru, head, heart and tummy.
Have you ever had Welsh cakes?
I have actually, yeah. What about Welsh rarebit?
Yes, please. Later, they'll be across from Anglesey, but they're about to start in Abergele. Well, Tim will be. Close to the Irish Sea at the Antique Centre, where you're invited to explore yesterday's charm today.
Ah, hello.
Hi.
You must be Julie.
I am.
Hello, Tim. Nice to
to
meet
meet
you.
you.
This looks great. And I've heard there's an upstairs and downstairs. Where shall I start?
Do you want to start upstairs?
Sounds good to me.
Come on,
This
then.
way. Oh, this way.
Take it from the top, eh?
Okay, up there.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you very much. I'll see you later.
Much later, by the looks of it, because there's plenty in here that's peruse-worthy. Although I'm not sure that's going to help matters much.
Feel a bit like the Flintstones.
Yabba dabba doo!
Nice chat.
He'll run out of horsepower soon enough. £200 to spend, of course. From 4 wheels to 2.
Now that is a cool piece of kit. It's an old fairground motorcycle. Look at that. And what I love about this is it's got all of its original paint. I'm guessing we're probably looking 1950s or 1960s. So it's a really nice original bit of kit. And you see a lot of fairground horses and things like that. But to find a motorbike is probably a little bit more unusual, I think. I would make a really cool decorator's piece in, I don't know, a motorcycle shop or even a restaurant, cafe, anything like that. But there's no price on it at all. Things like this are doing really well in auction at the moment. So it'd be worth definitely finding out the price and seeing if it's something we can take to auction. I've got a feeling it's going to be way out of my budget. But we'll see.
I think he's almost certainly right. Better get a backup plan.
I do love old photographs, especially black and white photographs, because I think they have such a lovely crispness to them. So I wonder who this person was, but whoever they are, they've got a really good eye for photography and they were completely obsessed with steam trains.
He's got a thing about transport today.
They've really shot some nice photographs here. And I think photographs like this would be quite collectible because there are so many photographs of stations, locomotives, and daily life surrounding trains. I'm hazarding a guess, but I reckon there's probably going on for 1,000 photographs in this box. and the price is £60, which, to be honest, we can get that down a bit, maybe to, say, £40 or something. I can see it doing quite well in an auction.
Let's leave him a rummaging and find out where Margie's got to. Further along the coast, in the splendid resort of Llandudno, or beautiful haven of peace. That's the town motto, as supplied by the Queen of Romania after she stayed here incognito in 1890. And just off the prom, they have the Lloyd Street Antique Centre. And here she comes, bang on cue. She also has £200 she's just itching to spend, remember.
This is a bird scarer. Makes an awful noise. This brings back memories. My dad was in the Mounted Police. And to train these horses, they are amazing, these police horses. To train them, you've got to try and get them used to all these noises. So the horses would be trained to go past men who would be making as much noise, shouting, yelling, waving flags to make the horse become completely used to it so that nothing would frighten him when he's out on the roads dealing with all sorts of problems. I reckon that's about 60, 70 years old. But it's good. That'll scare the birds. Might be handy in my garden for the squirrels. Not keen on squirrels.
So, good for repelling bothersome rodents, but not, apparently, for making profits. Back to the business in hand.
Well, that's quite nice. Well, that's pretty, isn't it? It's a lovely, interesting shape, thistle-shaped decanter. This has got some nice etching on it. It's got a silver neck. Colour's good. I think it's probably 1920s. I'm a little bit suspicious about the stopper. You've always got to be wary of stoppers because they go missing and they get broken. I would have thought it would have had a slightly different shape. It's a spirit decanter.
Probably for whiskey. What with the thistle and all.
You've got a nice hallmark there. Birmingham, 1920s. And this is lovely. This is acid-etched decoration. So you've got your laurel wreath there and sort of swags.
No price, though.
Actually, people don't tend to decant their drinks anymore, do they? That used to be something that was rather fashionable that you did, but you're straight out the bottle now. Get the top off. No mucking about with decanters.
Not sounding exactly convinced about this one.
I'm a bit under pressure, aren't I? He's beating me. He's having all the luck. No, he's not. He's very good, is Tim. I did beat him last time, but he's getting me back, big time. I've got to win an auction. Otherwise, the shame of it all.
Don't worry, Margie. Things are sure to perk up. Let's see what the opposition is up to in Abergele.
Ooh. Now, where's my yellow submarine?
Where this collection of train photos has already been shortlisted, although the motorbike is apparently £300. And Julie is busy keeping things on track. Anything else sub-budget?
Some interesting things in this cabinet. Look at that. Now, this is quite a characteristic brooch of a North African tribe, the Berber people, who settled in several different places, including Morocco. This particular brooch is known as a fibula brooch, and that was used for fastening clothes, cloaks, things like that. And it's beautifully manufactured. It's very classically, I would say, Moroccan.
Ticket price, £30.
And then engraved on the top here with very characteristic decoration of scrolling leaves. It's got this very thin layer of silver on top. So it is actually silver. And then on the back, it's brass. Date-wise, I think we're talking probably turn of the century. So it's quite a nice little historical object and beautifully made as well. So I'm just going to take that with me.
Here we go.
Julie, I found some bits. So you've got 60 on the photographs and 30 on the brooch. What do you think?
Could do 50 on the photos,
OK.
and I could do 20 on the brooch.
Well, it's a definite on the brooch. Thank you very much. Is there any chance you can get down to 40 on the photographs?
£60 the two. Go on then.
OK, it's a deal. Thank you.
First buys in the bag.
I'll go and do some train spotting. See you later.
And he's out of Abergele with £140 left, while we return to Llandudno, where Margie didn't know if she wanted to buy a decanter a bit earlier. And Penny's in charge. Hi, Penny.
Ah, what we got here? Oh, this looks fun. Oh, it's a money box, isn't it? Well, let's have a look. I think how it works is you got a 20p, so we put it in there, right? And there's a little lever there, and if you press that, it says Taiwan, so that means it's repro, but it's not repro. This is a vintage one. It's not brand new.
Well, that's something, I suppose.
But I'm enjoying playing with it. £38. I've never seen this one before. Usually, stop it. Usually, they're always...
Patience.
This chap's having a terrible day, isn't he? Stay. One last time.
So, is cash about to be extracted?
I'll go and ask Penny and see what we can do, because I'm probably going to have the decanter as well.
So, there you go.
Penny.
Oh, hello, Margie.
That is a bit of fun, but that's way out price-wise. And you've got no price on that.
I'll do that for 30,
Right.
and I could do that for 18.
Right. It's 48. Still worried about the decanter.
I'll do 45 for the two.
OK.
Making the decanter 27 and the money box 18.
Right, I'm off.
Take
Bye-bye.
care, bye-bye.
And leaving Margie with 155 still in hand. Although, unlike her chum, she's not minded to leave Llandudno just yet.
I bet Tim's not having as much fun as me. What a beautiful day. Just a bit scared the seagulls might pinch my ice cream.
Take care, Margie. That bird scarer could have come in handy.
Oh, God! Bloody hell! What did I say? Get out of it. He's got the lot now.
I don't suppose that ever happened to the Queen of Romania. Ha!
My ice cream, it's gone. I felt this rush on the back of my head. And I've got nothing. He's had the lot. He's even had the blooming corner. Right, I'm going back for another one.
Quite right. Well, let's just hope they're a little less naughty further down the coast. Because Tim's next shopping destination is Penmaenmawr, which, not surprisingly, is Welsh for Great Stone Head. At OTT, that's Old Timers Trading.
Oh, hello, you must be Kev.
Hello. Hiya.
This looks great. Where shall I start?
Try over there first.
Thanks, Kev. Good plan. Although, I have to say, it all looks rather good. £140 still to spend, remember.
I really like this. Probably Edwardian, I would say, around 1910. An Edison Bell discophone, probably more commonly known as a gramophone. I wonder if it works. Crank it up, crank it up. And then what we do is put the old needle on the disc, crank it up a bit. I think the sound of an old record playing on a gramophone is the best sound ever. If you open the doors, that increases the volume. It's very nostalgic as well. I mean, now we just stick our headphones in and we've got literally any music to listen to in the world, ever. And they had a stack of their favourite records. Now, it's priced at £80, which seems like a really reasonable amount of money, but the market for these isn't big. And I think one of the reasons for that is because it's almost a piece of furniture, isn't it? It's quite a large piece. We'll think about it, because £80, that's a big chunk of my budget.
I'm sure he could easily have got it for 78. While Tim carries on browsing, Margie's made her way inland towards Bethesda. So she'll hopefully be safe from further bird bother. Oh dear. At shop 55.
Hello.
Anybody there?
Oh.
Caris is the owner of this establishment.
Caris, I'm Margie.
Hello, welcome to Bethesda.
Thank you very much. We're going to have a look round, if that's all right.
I'm sure it'll be fine. And there's a definite Oriental vibe in here, it seems.
It's a nice tray if you like parrots. I'm a bit off birds, actually, after my incident.
Understood. 155 in hand, whenever something takes your fancy.
Oh, these are good fun. These used to be really collectible and highly prized. These are what we call fairings, which you won at the fair. But they're quite funny, they're always amusing, and they sort of depict things that happen in life. For example, husband and wife in bed with the baby, and it says here, 12 months after marriage.
Ticket price, £18.
You know, they're quite old, these things, but primarily came from winning things at the fair. But they went through a stage a few years ago being incredibly collectible. Look at this one. So you've got 2 cats here. This one's taking the lot. One poor little thing hasn't got any milk. Oh, do leave me a drop.
You really had to be there.
They're dead sweet, but you very rarely see them now. They used to be quite highly prized, but there's no way that's going to do any good at auction.
Oh, well, she's barely scratched the surface so far. What about down beside the seaside, where Tim's thus far equally empty-handed, having discarded the discaphone?
This is a Tibetan Chinese bronze bell suspended on this wooden carved frame, and it's known as a temple bell, and it would have been used for bringing meditation or something like that, some sort of ceremony. Whether this was actually an original one used in a temple or whether it was made as a souvenir, I would say probably the latter. And I think that probably would be what this is. It would have been something that was purchased to bring back.
Ticket price, £30.
What could you use that for now? Well, dinner gong. And it's actually quite nice. If you look, it's got dragons decorating all the way round the bell, and waves, and birds, flowers, leaves. If we look inside, there's a little spider's made his home, but there's no dangly ball thing that you ring.
Or clapper, as it's known.
So you would have hit it like this. And you can actually imagine the call to meditation, can't you? Should we try it? Very good, very peaceful. And I think that looks quite the part, so I think it'd be worth asking if there's some movement on the price.
Ding dong.
Ah, Kev, hello.
Hi, Tim.
There we are, I've found your bell, and you've got £30 on it. Mm-hmm. Is there some movement you can give me on that?
Would you be happy with 25?
Do you know what, I'd be delighted, Kev, if we could do 20, if that's possible. Can you squeeze that down there?
OK, yeah, we could do 20.
Much appreciated, Kev.
Thanks very much.
Kev, I'm gone. See you later.
Thank you.
120 left. Just needs to hurry and collect Margie now, which shouldn't take the fire engine too long. Although she may not have finished, of course.
That's an interesting pot, isn't it? Victorian stoneware pot with a label for Morell's registration ink. So everything's done by hand. It will be written in a ledger for registering births, deaths and marriages. So it would be special ink that would probably not fade. Register births, deaths and marriages must last for forever, really. And it says here, made with galls, and I think galls are nuts from an oak tree.
The earliest recipes for oak gall ink come from Roman naturalist Pliny the Elder.
Just sort of interesting thing that you'd put on a shelf in your kitchen. And it's £22. I love old labels. I mean, that label's like 140 years old. Might be a contender. So I'll put it back and think about it and carry on looking.
She's made a start, at least.
That's quite a pretty little mirror, that. Convex mirrors are quite nice, aren't they? £30. Can I take it off the wall?
Yes, by all means.
Ugh.
Penny for your thoughts, Margie?
Yeah, that's quite nice. It's a decorative convex mirror. Quite a nice frame. It's in pretty good condition. Not terribly old. I would think it's 50, 60 years old. Convex mirrors are quite popular. I've noticed when I've been at auction.
Although Tim's, from earlier in the trip, sank without trace, remember?
Convex is nice. It's interesting. Makes you look a bit odd. But no, I think that's quite nice. Shall I buy you?
I think we're getting somewhere.
Right, Caris, can we talk about money?
We certainly can. That could be 15.
That's 15, that's fine. And how about this?
£18.
18, right.
Special price for you.
So you wouldn't do the 2 for...
32. would
32.
be- Yes.
That's fine.
making them each £16. So, cash and carries completed. Margie exits with 123 left and looking rather pleased.
That's interesting, isn't it? I really like that.
Time for a long overdue rest. It's been a busy day after all.
Did you know that Nostar is good night?
That's it.
Nostar, Tim?
Nostar, Margie.
Nos. Today, our pair will be exploring Gwynedd, the beautiful northwestern corner of Wales.
The Menai Bridge.
It's going to be beautiful, isn't it?
Also, one of the strongholds of the Welsh language.
There's a town with the longest name, isn't there?
Yeah.
I think it's the longest name in the UK, isn't it?
58 letters. I will not be attempting it. Concentrating instead on recapping what our experts acquired yesterday. With Tim picking up a silver brooch, several train photographs and a temple bell without the
Dangly ball thing that you ring.
which leaves him with £120 for today's purchases. While Margie plumped for a decanter, a convex mirror, an ink bottle and a money box.
There's a little lever there, and if you press that...
Meaning she now has 123 in her kitty. From Antiquary to Anglesey.
They've got red squirrels there, but it appears they have problems with the grey ones,
They
don't
do.
they? They're not very nice to them. It's jealousy.
And don't get her started on seagulls. Gosh. Later, they have one more shop to share, but first they're heading for the country's oldest city, Bangor, where they're about to find out about the extraordinary local family known as the Bone Setters, from biomedical science lecturer Dr. Dylan Jones.
The story starts off back in 1735,
Right.
where a young boy was shipwrecked off the coast of Anglesey, who was named Evan Thomas, after the family who adopted him went on to found a dynasty of bone setters. They had an uncanny ability to kind of feel along and spot exactly where the break was in the bone. They'd realign the bones to set them, and people would be almost as good as new.
How did he find that he got this talent?
It seems that he started off being able to set the bones of animals on the farms that he was growing up, and he made his name when he successfully treated the wife of Lord Buckley. His wife had hurt herself very badly. None of the surgeons or doctors on Anglesey could help her, and as a last resort they called on Evan, and subsequently if they had accidents it was to Evan that they called.
Evan Thomas's untutored instinctive techniques were just the start of the story. Although he himself never left his adopted home, his children and their children carried on what, at first, was only a profitable sideline. The university's archive contains a trove of information about this fascinating family.
Ooh. What have you got here?
So we have letters going back generations, starting off with a mention of the first from one of the local estates where one of the cooks had fallen down some of the cellar stairs and unfortunately broken his hip, and a bill has been submitted. It says 2 guineas, which doesn't sound like much, but that was a substantial amount of money.
Right.
And they invested that wealth in property back in Anglesey, and we actually have one of the deeds for the leases of one of these properties that they'd purchased. So between their practices and their property portfolio, they were able to make quite a good living.
Yeah.
And what we have here as well are some letters that were shared between Richard, he was the shipwrecked boy's son, and he was writing to his son called Evan. This Evan had gone to Liverpool, and one of the key themes is that the bone setters didn't necessarily get on well with the established medical. He says that Dr. Evans, the doctor in Llanachamedd, was also here offering his assistance. However, I didn't listen to a jot of what he had to say, and I sincerely feel he does more harm to the parish than good.
When did they start to be taken seriously rather than being an interference?
The son who these letters are being written to, Evan, he actually got into quite a bit of bother with the establishment, and indeed a lot of the local physicians in Liverpool were trying to get him charged for manslaughter because they didn't approve.
And yet it was the Thomas family who were to be ultimately vindicated, because the founder's great-grandson, Hugh Thomas, the man in the cap, along with his nephew Robert Jones on the right, went on to become known as the fathers of modern orthopaedics. Tim's come to talk to Dr. Harry Pritchard.
Hugh Thomas himself was a GP, and he worked in the slums of Liverpool. Now, you can imagine at that time the poverty was immense, people lived on top of each other, and these people caught all sorts of diseases. And the important one here would have been tuberculosis. And tuberculosis had quite significant orthopaedic complications, and he developed skills in treating this, skills that had never been developed before. And then, when his nephew joined him, in the practice in Liverpool, he was very much an extrovert, and he took these ideas out and in no time at all completely changed orthopaedics.
The invention which illustrates that best is the Thomas splint, which was introduced, thanks to nephew Robert Jones, to the treatment of casualties during World War I. The transformation was remarkable, with survival rates from hip fractures climbing from 20% to 80%, and their legacy lives on.
It doesn't matter where you go in the world, people still talk about the Jones fracture, which is a fracture of the foot. People still do the Thomas test, which is a hip test. These are all carried out day to day. The effect they've had on everybody's health throughout the world, you know, cannot be overrated.
Quite a family. Now, time to get back to our little menage, en route to their final opportunity of this leg.
Anglesey being known as the mother of Wales,
Yes.
do you think you're the mother of Antiques Road Trip?
I'm probably the grandmother.
Well, I shudder to think what that makes me then. They're heading out even further west towards the village of Llandurog. Well, close to it, at Blythe Farm.
The Emporium.
Take the
It's
shot.
quite big, isn't it? After you then, if you're in such a rush.
You can hardly blame her, Tim. She's very anxious to win this one, I'm sure. Although they'll have to get their bearings first.
1930s banjo.
Margie could never resist a strum. Tim has £120 left, remember? And she's got £3 more. So let's get down to business.
I'm looking at a Victorian chest of drawers from around 1900, and it's beautifully made out of mahogany with lots of different features. But what's caught my eye straight away is the depth of this top drawer. And to me, that indicates something. Let's have a look. There we are, look at that. We pop it open, and what we've got here is called a secretaire chest of drawers. And it's basically a desk and chest of drawers in one. And I think for £295, that seems rather reasonable to me, because what you're buying...
Oh, hello.
Is he deaf? Is he deaf?
I wondered what that knocking was.
Hasn't been made from new. You're recycling.
Margie!
You're being eco, and you're buying a piece of furniture. Go away!
Go away. Oh, that's nice, isn't it?
Oh, well, he couldn't have afforded it anyway.
Where should we pick that up from?
Quite.
I always get excited when I see these old enamel signs because they're amazing. They're in such a terrible state. People collect them, put them in their kitchens and wherever. This is the Master Boot Polish, probably 100 years old. Look at that there, isn't that dreadful? Great chunk out of it. And I always think, maybe they've missed it. If it's 50 quid, I'd buy it. It's 180.
Probably made by Birmingham's Patent Enamel Company.
And they always damage it when they take them off the walls, make them even worse. But they always do well at auction. People like them. So I'm going to put it back and carry on.
No sale.
One day I'll buy one. I've never bought one yet.
Lordy. Deb will be the person to talk to when required. Now, coast seems clear.
Quite an interesting group of Asian ceramics here. It's a shame, though, because I've picked up my favourite one, which is this late 19th, early 20th century Chinese vase with a prunus flower decoration on it. But sadly, it's been damaged and repaired around the rim. There's a pair of Japanese koro pots for incense burning. They're probably early 20th century as well. This is porcelain, though, and a lot of koro were made out of bronze. This type of Japanese porcelain is known as Arita ware. Sadly, again, there's a few little bits of damage on them, but I really love that shape. This body here with the decoration on it and the scrolled handles. And then there's a little pot as well, look. And this is known as Imperial Yellow because it was associated with royalty and very, very wealthy people. And this would have been made purely for export.
This one's £8. No tickets on the others, though.
They all have got age, and I think they might make quite a nice group lot in an auction. If they're cheap enough, I think they'd be worth a go. So I think it might be worth just taking all of these and seeing what we can do as a job lot.
We seem to be making progress. His cap and trade will come courtesy of Tony, but with her, Margie.
Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? Child's school desk with a seat that belongs to it in nice oak, nice wood. Shall I go down memory lane? Oh, makes you sit up straight. What a nice little thing. Early oak school desk, 69. 1930s, probably. And it's got all these children's names written all over it. Naughty children.
Was young Margie a teacher's pet, we wonder?
I did a lot of talking instead of listening. But I wasn't naughty.
She was quite naughty earlier.
Margie doesn't always listen, talk too much. It's helped me in the long term. Oops, if I can get out of it. It's not nice that the seat is joined up to it. I get it for £40. Surely somebody'd buy that.
We can only hope. Time to have a word with...
Deborah. Right, I've seen the school desk with the adjoining seat. It's 69, which is...
Can we go to 50?
I had 40 in mind.
I think we could probably do that, yes.
Thank you very much.
Gold stars all round.
And there you go.
Lovely.
I'll go and get it moved.
OK.
And £83 unspent. While Tim, meanwhile, has these pots under consideration. Anything else float your boat?
There's a whole tray of different trinkets here, and I always like looking through these. I was hoping there might be the odd coin, because I haven't actually bought any coins on this trip.
Yep, Margie's not been overly disappointed.
One that's caught my eye straight away is this one, and this one as well. They're both from a period known as the aesthetic movement. They're both silver. And the aesthetic movement was all about almost art over function. So things were very beautiful, but didn't necessarily have much of a use. One's got the price of 15, which might be a little bit top heavy, but I'm thinking if we can get a group together, then we might be able to do a deal. This one's quite nice as well. This is a silver brooch. It's Eastern, and you can see it's got a bit of calligraphy in the middle. And then the actual brooch itself is beautifully made with filigree work, all handmade. And that one has got some age as well, I'd say probably late 19th, early 20th century.
No price on that one.
And then this one here, this is actually a buckle rather than a brooch, but it's Chinese silver. And if I turn it over, there's a maker's mark here for Wang Hing, who was a famous Chinese silver maker. So we've got a nice, decent little group there. So I think if we go and ask what the very, very best would be, I think that would be the way forward.
Rightio. Quite a pile, all in all.
Tony, hi.
Hi, Tim.
I've had a good look round and I've found a group of Oriental porcelain, and then I found some silver brooches and a buckle in your bijouterie tray.
Oh, yeah.
There's no prices on the Oriental apart from this pot at £8, so I'm wondering what that would be as a job lot.
Well, because of the damage, we can do them £4 each, so £16 a lot.
That's a deal. Thank you very much. And then these brooches, one's got 15, but that's a bit top heavy for me. I'm wondering, can I make you an offer?
Yeah, go on.
How about we do £40 for the ceramics and the brooches?
Yeah.
Does that sound
yeah,
right?
we can do that.
It's a deal. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tony. 24 for the brooches and 16 for the china. 80 left over.
That's that.
Yeah, all of our shopping done, Margie.
Yeah.
How are you feeling for this one?
Oh, I love auctions.
Even with this coming up?
Well,
The mind games begin.
how much do you reckon?
Oh, a couple of grand.
You'll be lucky.
A shut-eye, please. And so, they arrive in Aylsham, the former cloth capital in Norfolk. Having first acquired their goods between Abergele and Llanduroog, before carting the lot across the country to East Anglia, at Key's Fine Art Auctioneers, where they'll be selling in the room, on the net and on the phone. Henry Hammond on the hammer.
£40.
Oh, we must be here.
Are you ready?
Yes, bring it on. After you.
Tim spent a total of £120 on 5 auction lots. What's your pick, Henry?
The group of Oriental ceramics is an interesting lot. The use of the imperial yellow on the jar hopefully should attract a lot of interest.
Margie parted with a bit less, £117 for her 5 offerings.
The school desk with its integral chair is a nice piece and more unusual in the fact that it's actually constructed of solid oak. And it's not something we see that often in this particular design.
Margie will be pleased. Time to find out what the bidders will actually pay, though.
Comfy chairs.
They are very comfortable.
Nice to see lots of people.
Yeah. Keen to buy our things.
My things, not your things.
Charming. Well, your decanter will be put to the test first.
It's quite old, early 20th century.
Oh, nice. And silver mounted.
Yeah.
Lovely.
£5.
Oh, no, Margie.
10 then, 12.
Oh dear.
15, 18, 20.
There's people bidding all over the place.
Would you like to go 30? At 32. Any but 35 in.
That's good for a decanter. I didn't have high hopes for that.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
An encouraging start for Margie.
I've lost an earring.
Is it a lucky sign to lose an earring or a unlucky?
Tim's turn, his little jewellery collection.
There's a couple of aesthetic movement brooches. There's a Turkish brooch and there's also a buckle.
At 25.
Straight in.
At 25, at 28, 30 then, at 32 now, at 32. Would anybody like to go 35?
4 pieces there.
At £32. And done then...
Well, look, I made a bit of a profit, which I'm very happy about.
More solid, unspectacular rewards.
It was a nice little group for someone to buy as well, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah, I liked it.
Now for Margie's dentistry-themed novelty.
It's a cast-iron money box.
To keep all your profit in.
£20 on that then at 20. 22, 25, 28, 30 now.
There's a lady in the room bidding.
35, 38, 40, 42, 45.
Well done, you.
48, 50, 5, 60 are back on the internet.
Well done, Doctor.
Anybody else then? 62 to make it difficult for me. You can go 65 on the internet if you'd like. Nope. At £62.
Well done, you. I like it.
Yes, the collectors were clearly keen. Now, rinse.
That wasn't like pulling teeth, that one, was it?
Tim just needs to find a few enthusiasts for his train photos now.
Do you remember steam trains?
I've been on several. I love the sound.
I remember steam trains.
Do you?
Yeah, it had a terrible noise.
Straight in on the internet at a rather underwhelming £8.
Oh.
At 8 then, at 8. At 10
dear.
now, at 10. At 12, 15 now. At 15, 18, 20.
It's picking up steam.
25, 28 then. At 28. On the internet then.
Need some more coal on the fire, I think, don't you?
30 now at the back then. At 32, 35, 40. At 40. Anybody else?
You're going up a hill now.
I know.
You're going up a hill.
£40. And then...
Well, we've pulled into the station and I'm getting off.
A return ticket, back to where he started.
It was a snapshot into somebody's past and it was just lovely.
Even if you haven't got a profit.
Margie's inexpensive mirror is next under the hammer.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who owns the ugliest mirror of them all? Margie.
An underwhelming £8 to start with, then at 8. At 8.
Well, we're halfway.
At 10, then at 10. 12, 15 now at 15. Internet then. At
Margie,
15,
other people
at
like it.
15.
Losing this earring is my lucky
Anybody
day.
else then? At £15.
Happy days.
You're down £1.
She's had worse. Nothing to be too concerned about.
I like it now.
Because it's gone.
Yeah, because I only lost £1.
Now, does this ring for Tim? Or has he dropped a clanger?
If you knock it, it's a perfect meditation sat. It's lovely.
Oh, you're going to make a profit on this.
£8
Oh,
on the
for
internet.
goodness
Then
sake.
at 10. At 10.
We've got a way to go on this one, I think.
12, 15 now at 15, 18, 20 then at 20. Would anyone else like to come in? 22 now. In the front then at £22. 21.
Oh, my goodness, that did shock me.
Well, strictly speaking, it is a profit.
£2 is £2.
Are you pleased with £2?
Not particularly, but it'll do.
What will Aylsham make of Margie's ink pot?
Come on, Morel stoneware bottle.
Don't bottle it.
£5 on the internet then at 5. Anybody else then?
Oh dear.
Straight in at 10 now on the internet.
Oh,
then
somebody
at
else
10,
wants it online.
At 10. Anybody else then on the internet?
I'm going
then
down.
At £10 and done then.
Chin up, Margie. Been a good auction so far, after all.
I liked it.
Yeah, it was nice. I love the little label.
Shame nobody else did.
Let's see if Tim's Oriental pots prove more popular.
Are they all perfect?
They're not. OK, but I only paid £16, the whole group.
We can go straight in here then at £35 on this then. Yes. At 35, at 35, at 38 then, at 38.40 then, at 42,
Well
45, at 45, 48, 50 now, at 50, at 55 then, at 55, at £55.
I'm very pleased.
Not surprisingly, that's got him right back in it.
They looked better on the photograph than in real life.
I don't agree. I think they look lovely. How dare you?
How very dare you?
Margie's last lot now. Auctioneer approved, remember?
Were you good at school, or were you a bit of a mischief?
I wasn't a rebel.
No.
I was too scared to be a rebel, but I talked too much.
How's that not surprised you, Margie, at all?
Straight in then we go at £10 here then at 10, 12 then at 12, 15 now, 18. At 18 in the front then at 18. Anybody else then? 20 now, 22 then.
Can't look,
22.
can't look.
Anybody else then? At 20.
I'm taking a hit.
In the front then.
Darn it.
Margie.
I think that might well be an F.
Back to antique school.
On the internet then.
Tim brings things to a conclusion with yet another brooch.
I think this one probably dates to early to mid-20th century, so it has good age to it. Lovely thing.
Can't wait to see it.
We can go straight in here then. At £5 on the internet, £8 now at 8, at 10, 12 then at 12, 15, 18. Anybody else like to come in then? Anybody else then at £18?
You can't win them all.
Unfortunately not.
Quite a roller coaster today, wasn't it?
We both made some decent profit, but we both made some unfortunate losses. Should we go and check it out?
Go on.
Come on.
And for the fourth time in a row, Margie's missed out because after auction costs, she's made a loss of £16.92p. While Tim, also with sale room fees deducted, made a slightly smaller loss, just £1.06. So, he leads 4-0, but it's not a whitewash. Yet.
Well, Margie.
Well, that wasn't too bad. Marvellous.
Right, I'll catch up with you now. You're eager, aren't you?
Next on Antiques Road Trip,
Barada.
a language special.
You know what that means?
That's verbal.
Art Nouveau in Germany is called Young and Still.
Non-verbal.
If you ran the fan across your cheek, that was a sign, I love you.
And even auction catalogue.
Margie, lot number 1. A fine specimen and the perfect road trip companion.